The Twilight Zone was made for a reason, just like Black Mirror was made for a reason. Shout out to anyone that watches The Twilight Zone or Black Mirror. In this case, I'm going to focus specifically on Black Mirror because there's an episode of Black Mirror. I don't remember what it's called, but it was all about how, like, the society was structured in a way that people would only associate with each other if they had a certain level of rating. You know, like it would be like a, I don't know, 4.95 or higher. You know, out of 5 stars altogether. And I want to preface this by saying that the extent to which you can know another person is entirely based off of the extent to which you know yourself. The depth of connection that you can develop with another person is entirely based on how deep you've gone into yourself. And for many people, that's very challenging because they have fucked up defense mechanisms that stop them from diving into themselves. I'm going to look specifically at the defense mechanism of black or white thinking. If you believe that something is bad, the likelihood that you're going to dive deeply into it is very low. Because you see it as bad. Oh, that's bad, I shouldn't do that. Oh, that's bad, I shouldn't look at that. It's just a defense mechanism. It's just a very limited way of perceiving anything or anyone. And the fascinating thing about this whole, like, human system of rating is that I look at that and I'm like, oh, wow. I personally believe that that comes from emotional immaturity. You know, because nobody is that simple, first and foremost. And the likelihood that that has to do far more with projections than anything else. Like, think about it this way. If you ever hear from somebody that somebody else is bad, the likelihood that you're going to have any sort of association with them is very low, especially when you take this other person's word at face value. And think about all the people that were raised in family systems that taught them to see people in the world and things in a very polarized black or white way. We live in a exceedingly and unfortunately polarized society. You know? We view things in extremes, unfortunately. Now, if you have learned that somebody is bad, and that was hardwired into your mind, that was concreted into your mind, the likelihood that you'll ever have any association with them if you never look past the filter of black or white thinking is very low, because that's what you learned. You learned that they're a bad person, and you learned that that means that you are to not have any association with them altogether. It's just wild how much black or white thinking actually limits people. It's sad, in my honest opinion, because, like, the defense mechanism goes up there, or even, for instance, the defense mechanism of black or white thinking that stops you from looking further and further deeply. I think that makes sense. Anyway, further and further into yourself. You know, because, like, say, for instance, the defense mechanism comes up. That's bad. Okay, so we're not going to look at that. So then you're just limited to that shallow perception of yourself, which simultaneously you likely project onto other people. Look at other people in the same fashion, and you spread that word to other people. Oh, that person's bad. And I don't even, like, the person would be like, I don't even realize this, but I'm only seeing that person as bad because I see myself as bad, and I'm just projecting self onto other. And we're all just like, well, not everyone. Not everyone lives this way, but a lot of people, I would personally argue, based on what I've learned and what I've experienced, a majority of society lives this way. We live through a perception of other people's bullshit perceptions. And we just accept that at face value. And so when you look at, I mean, there are probably a multitude of Twilight Zone episodes that can relate to this, but specifically that episode of the Black Mirror, Black Mirror, that episode where, like, everyone really bases their relationships off of, oh, what is that person's rating? What is their number? How many views do they have? How many subscribers do they have? How many X, Y, and Z do they have? What is their Rotten Tomato rating? How many? Oh, they only that movie only got I don't know, 65% out of 100%. It must suck. Meanwhile, I would argue that so many people just lack depth in terms of introspection, in terms of seeing themselves and their own capacities to see other people. It's sad. It really is. And so why should I base my venture of life off of somebody else's bullshit perception when I realize that when you lack emotional maturity, when you're very much caught up inside of black or white thinking and you look at people, you look at yourself in a very limited perception of good or bad, when you or anybody else are neither, it says nothing about anybody, just limits your perception. You know, it's sad. And that's pretty much what, like, this whole idea of Black Mirror is all about, is just, you know, oh, that person's rating is not high enough, therefore I'm not going to have any association with them. You're out of touch with yourself, severely, at that point. You're out of touch with yourself. You're also out of touch with the deeper qualities of relating between self and other. There are a bunch of fucking defense mechanisms there, specifically looking at one of them, black or white thinking, that limits you from getting to know yourself deeper as well as getting to know another person deeper, more deeply. It's sad. And it's like, this is how we live as a society. And that's sad too. If you'd like to get to know yourself better, I offer coaching. You can contact me at chriscbanish@gmail.com. I will put that down in the description. But yeah, I just wanted to relate this whole dynamic to Black Mirror, because it's basically like the same thing. How well do you know yourself? How well would you like to know yourself? Are you aware of any fucked up defense mechanisms that could stop you from knowing yourself more deeply, and with that also stop you from knowing other people more deeply? The extent to which you can know other people is entirely based on the extent to which you know yourself. Yeah.